This is the new show called Hangout.
Hang out. Let's hang out. 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 Hang out. Let's hang out.
That video. Man, I made that the song and the video I put together for that. It was like all done tonight in about, I don't know, about 2 hours. It looks it too. How's everybody doing tonight? We're hanging out. This is the hangout. What's going on? Let's see who we got here. Yeah, Pete dumped you. You've been dumped. Thank you for the dump, Pete. Great show, by the way. If you didn't catch Pete's happy hour, you should definitely put that on your list to replay later. Hey Mark, what's going on? Gorteam 85, what's happening? Mix Club, what's going on? Frank Terzo, seamless. Yeah, seamless dump. The dumps are becoming seamless. Hey, Pete John, there's the man of the hour right there. Pete Johns, what's happening? Who else do we have? Who else do we have for this kind of inaugural episode of this show, but not really? Hey, Morris Capone, what's happening? Let's see. Jade Star also did a great show a little bit earlier. Mod on the channel. Pete's an honorary mod as well, so that's very cool. Gregory O'Sullivan. 1 minute I wasn't watching Pete. Now I'm not watching. What's up? And there's lovely wife Amelia. What's happening? So what are we doing here? Hey, Night Train 1988. Al, it's very late there, but glad to have you with us. And Princess LDG, what's happening? Princess LDG. So it's a Saturday night. It's in lieu of Thomas Christ Live. I thought I'd change things up a little bit. We'll do these hangouts and we'll hang out. Anyway, so what am I talking about tonight? Hey, Blue Unicorn, what's happening? Managing time. How do we manage time? I'm not good at managing time, so that's why I'm coming to you. And I'm saying to you, what do we do about this time thing? There's this thing where seconds and minutes advance and life gets shorter. It's a really depressing way of thinking about it. Life gets shorter and shorter and shorter every second and every minute. And we have to kind of adjust how we do things and where we do things and what we do so that we make use of this thing, this time. Yeah, what time? What time exactly? Exactly. Hey, Lily Pillies, what's going on? Naked Pizza, finishing a song. That's the way to do it. I haven't had pizza in such a long time, and I want pizza, but because I'm vegan, I would have to make it. Myself, and I can't be fucked to do that. How do I watch two community streams at the same time? I don't know. So, well, yeah, Wayek, what's going on, man? What's happening? So anyway, yeah, what do we do about this time thing? This, limited, we have, limitations on our space and time continuum. And the question that we have is like, how do we manage to be creative and do creative things? Because that's what we want to do, ultimately. Most of us here, artists, musicians, writers, whatever the hell your thing is. But the thing we're trying to figure out is, how do we do those things and still do work. We have to work. Most of us have to work. Some of us are lucky enough to be past retirement age, and maybe you don't have to do that. Well, that opens up things a little bit. Some of us don't have to work all the time. Some of us do have to, the various schedules. But the thing is that takes up big chunks of time, because most jobs are like 5, 6, 7, 8 hours. And then you come home and, and I'm not even going to include things like children, because that's a thing, and families and stuff. That's not a thing that I worry so much about, but it is a thing. But some people have that. Some people, but all of us, we have, we want to do fun things in our free time, things that give us enjoyment. And then we also, we want to get down to the business of creating, be it music, be it art, be it writing, be it whatever. We want to be able to do that. How, and when. And now, then you get into this whole kind of situation, like we're here right now on a Saturday night, and YouTube is kind of a thing. And, part of YouTube is, we watch all the shows and stuff, but sometimes those shows, that's stuff that happens. Now, if you're lucky enough to be working while the shows are on, because sometimes, depending on the nature of the work that you do, you can watch shows and stuff and work at the same time, and that's good, because that's like two birds with one stone. That's always a good thing. But we got to balance the creative time with watching YouTube. So that's another thing that I personally struggle with it. I don't know about all of you, but and I want to support people, and I want to be there for people, but I also now that I'm back in a working mode, so 8 hours of my day are taken up, 7.5, 8 hours of my day are taken up by work, and then I want to be creative, but I also want to watch the YouTube shows that I normally watch. So that's a challenge. You know what I mean? That's just the challenge. And how do we navigate that whole situation? I don't have the answers to these things. I'm not good at time management. I am very bad at time management. And I am someone who will say, I'm going to take tonight and I'm going to work on music. And then I'll not do other things so that I can do that. And then I'll just sit here and fuck around on the internet and not get anything accomplished. I don't know if any of you can relate to that, but that's a thing that happens with me for absolute certain. I say to myself, okay, here's time. We're going to get music. We're going to work on music, maybe make a music video for a song, or I'm going to create a new song. I'm going to start working on a new song. And then I just get on the internet and like, oh, hey, there's Reddit. Oh, there's Facebook. What's happening over on Facebook? What's going on there? Let's look at this YouTube video. Oh, look at this over here. Look at that. And next thing you know, that whole evening, that 3 or 4 hours or whatever that I thought I had is gone. YouTube is a blessing and a curse. And YouTube. Gorteam wishes he could get two birds stoned at once. That would work. Mix Club says, YouTube to me is more addictive than gambling. I was late to my own stream because I was watching Pete. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the thing. That's it. Mark Bro says, prioritize 1, emergency, 2, necessities, 3, own time, 4, everything else. I mean, yeah, that's probably like a responsible way to do it. It works for him. That's the way it should work. Is that the way it really works for a lot of us? Is it the way it works for me? Hell no. It's not even close. But yeah. And Mars Capone says, I feel like Thomas Christ, Pete, and Jade are Jedi masters of time management. Wow. I think that the force is you're missing the force. I can't speak for Pete or Jade, but I know for me, I'm a goddamn mess. I am a goddamn mess, and if you knew how much of a goddamn mess I was, you would be like, what, But I'm not here to tell you this is how you do it, because I don't know. I'm here. I'm like, I kind of want to hear some ideas of how that could work, or what that should look like, or what are some things, like, I think Mark Bro is probably a Jedi master of time management. Just looking at the responses that he's had, he's very he seems to be very organized. Don't listen to anyone's advice. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a thing too. So Night Train says this: I have 2 out of 3 weekends off work, and my wife works every weekend, so I tend to do music on weekends only. Hence why it takes me a year to put out an album. See, I was thinking like Night Train is, I kind of looked at Night Train as somebody who's got the thing and does it right, because like when he works on an album, you don't see him. And I just assume that he's out there and he's working on that album and he's taking every second. Now, I know he's got family and he's got, work and other responsibilities, but like, he's finishing that album at the top of the list underneath all that other stuff, like family and everything else that always is kind of there and always is supposed to be most important. But as far as like any free time, prioritizing that, I always thought Al was very good at that. Jamie Mallender says time is the only enemy. Yeah, I agree with that. Mark Bro, never forget that life has a way of getting in the way. Yeah, I can certainly relate to that. And Gorthium says, like sands through the hourglass, these are the days of our lives. So Mix Club says, Tom's question: how often are you almost late to your own stream because you're not ready? Every single time. When you come for You Rock and you're like, it's 6:00 and it gets to be 6:03, 6:04, 6:05. Hopefully we're on the air by 6:05. That's me scrambling, running around. My wife can, if she's watching, she can vouch. Me running up and down the stairs to get things ready, because I always my biggest problem is that I underestimate how much time it's going to take to do a thing. I say like, oh yeah, getting ready for the show, that'll take me about, I don't know, an hour and a half max. And then reality, it actually takes like 2 hours, sometimes 2.5 hours. So I'm trying to condense 2.5 hours of stuff into, and that goes for everything in life. Not just like getting ready to go somewhere, doing anything. But I'm the kind of person that I somehow manage to, usually I somehow manage to make it places on time, but there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. There's a lot of rushing around and a lot of scrambling to make that happen. Some people are just late for everything. I'm not necessarily one of those people, but I am one of the people that is on the edge of it. I thrive on a deadline. Pete John says, my mobile phone is my best and worst productivity tool. I've had success recently moving all my music apps to the front page and all my distracting apps a few screens in. Now Pete is somebody who he's very organized, and I've seen it. He is a master of organization. Just if you look at the way, because you get to see him put a song together, and I see the way he puts a song together, and he comes in and he's got notes up and has all the the one note and puts the lyrics on this page and puts writes out how he's gonna structure the song and everything. And I look at that as I've never done that in my life. but yeah, it's good if you can do those things. It's a good habit to get into, but it's a tough habit to get into. Mark Mark Bro says, I'd like to get on to that procrastination thing. Maybe tomorrow. Yep. And see, there you go. There's my wife. She's attesting to all that I said about scrambling around and trying to get ready for things. And it is accompanied by profuse profanity most of the time. And Amelia says, I'm ultra organized and time sensitive, so we're polar opposites when it comes to this topic. Yes. But she keeps me in line. I'd probably be worse off if it wasn't for her structure and organization that gets kind of forced on to me. I need that. Wayx says, I've gotten much better at this. Good. That's great. Well, tell us a little bit more about how you do that. Wayx says, I thrive on a deadline, or at least I used to. Gregory says, I find time fragmentation is a problem. You need larger chunks of time to do creative stuff. Helps to batch up all the essential stuff and try to get it out of the way. That's probably, like batching things down, it's just building structures and adhering to those structures always seems to work well. And but it's the challenge of, like, sometimes it feels to me like it's like putting myself in a prison, and that's why I kind of struggle with it, because I feel like I'm stuck, you know what I mean? But Wayx says, haven't had a deadline in a while. Well, that's good. Deadlines can be very frustrating. Frank Terzo said, thankfully my partner has the patience of a saint. I'm sure Amelia 13 is the same. Yeah, she really is, Frank. She's very, very, very patient to put up with me. That's for sure. See, Blue Unicorn says, most of my songs are composed and arranged in my head. Yeah, that's kind of how I do it too. That's been my way of doing it, and then later figure out how to do it. Exactly. So Mix Club says, I wish I could set a better schedule for streaming, but I take care of mom, and that's a full-time job. It's hard to predict when I'm going to be free, so I think that adds to my not getting shit done. Yeah, I mean, just being able to find the time to stream, and you do it pretty regularly from what I've seen, is being able to find the time to stream when you're, taking care of an elderly parent is a full-time responsibility, absolutely. And I'm impressed that you're able to do as much as you do, because that can't be easy. But Mark Bro has to go. See, yeah, that's well, that's another thing with me is I make no bones about it. I stay up until 3 and 4 in the morning, and then I wake back up at, well, I mean, if it's a work day, I got to be up by 8 a.m. If it's a weekend, I might be able to stay up a bit. I might be able to sleep a little bit later, but not that much. So I probably only sleep about 3.5 to 4.5 hours a night. Is that a good thing? Probably not. But it's just more about, like, reclaiming time. That's one way that I reclaim time is by not sleeping very much, which isn't a great way to do it, but it is a way to do it, I guess. Frank Terzo said, my actual recording time is 2-hour increments and minimum of 2 days apart, and then a week break to listen to, and I can start the process all over again. That seems like a healthy way to do it. See, my problem with that, I'm the kind of person that when I start working on something, I hate to walk away from it, because I just want to, like, get it done. I'm like, all right, I'm starting a song, and when I've had, like, all day, I'll start a song, sometime at, late morning, and I'll keep working on that fucking song until 10, 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, and get the whole thing finished in one day. Core Team says, accomplish as much as you can before you croak. How will you be remembered? That's a good advice as well. So what do we think? Termer Bear says, I work Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and I'm almost 60. I'm tired. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. We can get into the amount that people are expected to work and the length of time that they're expected to work. And I mean, now, for a lot of people, like, the idea of even being able to retire is a question mark. Like, I know for me, like, I don't know if I'll ever be able to retire. I think my retirement will just come when I can't work anymore, when my body just breaks down to a point that I can't function. I'll probably have to work until then. Hey, Jack Flash, what's going on? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. We're talking about time management and just how do we figure this shit out. And I'll be the first to say, like I said up front, I don't have the answers. I don't know. That's why I'm really, this is me coming to you. It's coming to the hive mind to see what we think about this. So any other ideas that people have, or any other comments that you want to make about managing time and this limited thing that we have? We're just like trying to get creativity done, get songs to happen, get music to happen, get art to happen. And Jack Flash says, get in whatever you can, whenever you can, even tiny bits. Yeah, I mean, that's a good thing. See, that's another one that I struggle with, because I get discouraged when if I know I only have an hour, it might as well not even exist, because I mentioned before about how I like to like start things and not stop until they're finished. And so when I know I only have an hour and I know I can't possibly finish the thing that I'm working on in that time, I just say, and I need to be able to do more of what Jack mentioned there. But I just kind of like get discouraged and I say, fuck it. Why even start? I'm going to have to stop. So that's another thing that I personally struggle with. Gorty says, that's been my ethos for the last couple of years. Ride the highs, survive the lows. Pomodoro technique is vital. Now you're just making me hungry, Mars. I could go for a pasta pomodoro right about now. That sounds delicious. You have to tell us about this pomodoro technique, and how is that different from pasta? Mix Club says, most of the stuff that I did is really good when I was younger. Definitely take advantage of youth. 56 and I could not do what I did 10 years ago. So that's one thing that I'm determined to not have happen. I see it happen too often. I see people mellow with age, and like they get into like, maybe they're into like metal and stuff like that when they're younger, and rap music and all that, and then they get older and they start listening to like more softer music, and so if they're making music, they start making more softer kinds of contemplative sorts of music. I'm bound and determined to not do that. I want to keep the youthful energy and aggression as long as I can. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that either. So Mars says, do a modified Pomodoro, 50 minutes on, 10 minutes off. True break, thinking about the song, video, an hour break after 3 to 4. So it's kind of like taking these chunks of time. Like you're going to, like every Pomodoro is 50 minutes on and then 10 minutes off. Yeah, that makes some sense. But probably like when I'm working on stuff, really what it is, I might say, okay, I'm working on a song all day. Am I actually working on the song all day, or am I working on the song for a little bit and then I'm like, oh, let's check Facebook, let's see what's going on. Let's see what's happening on Twitter, what's going on Twitter, what's the latest there, and let's check out a couple YouTube videos. That'll be cool. And then, oh yeah, I gotta get back to that song. That happens to me a lot. So I kind of do that, not intentionally though. Jack Flash says, nah, an hour is great. Sadly, I can only sing in fits and starts if my wife goes to the grocery store. It's on. Oh yeah. I used to be like that. I used to not want to sing if anybody was in the house. And my work situation used to be such that my wife would go to work and I was home. So that was the time that I would use to make music. That was a great time when I had that working situation, which is no longer the case anymore. But I've had to learn to just do it because we both work from home now, so it's a bit different. But that was a challenge to get over that hump and not be as timid about singing when people were in the house. I don't know if anybody can relate to that one either. That's a weird me thing. Hey Jenny, what's happening? Mara says the breaks make the work better. Counterintuitive. Yeah, I mean it sounds like one of those smart things that people do, and it probably is very effective. And like I said, like I kind of do that, but I don't do it like intentionally. I don't think, okay, it's been 50 minutes now. I'm going to stop for 10 minutes and go and check out, YouTube or Facebook or something for 10 minutes, and then I'm going to come back. The problem with me, though, is that time going away ends up being 30, 40, 50 minutes, maybe an hour, maybe even longer before I come back. That's the like, if it was only 10 minutes, that would be great. That would be perfect. But that's not ever what happens. Gore Team says, every day you wake up, you got work to do. Some for the man, some for yourself. First word out of my mouth every morning is fuck. I like that one. That's good. That's real good. Night Train, there we go. Same as me. I prefer not to sing if anyone's in the house. Yeah, I had to get past that after the situation started a couple of years ago, and it's not a big deal anymore. Gregory says I just prefer not to sing. That's a shame, Gregory. You have a good voice. You need to sing. Well, you don't need. I mean, if you don't want to sing, don't sing. But I think you have. Pete says I think the best thing for Christ time management would be if Jade and I stop making videos. But man, that would be sad. we don't want that. There is a kernel of truth in it, but we don't want that. Because the thing is, like, I wouldn't be doing any of the stuff that I was doing if it wasn't for Pete and Jade. And I think of all the people that may be in that boat right now, that they're late to the party, but they're just discovering Pete, they're just discovering Jade for the first time, and their life is about to change, and they're about to embark on a musical journey. I think the thing is, though, that a lot more people are starting to do things on YouTube, and that is starting to become a thing, but I've just kind of said, like, I'll catch what I can catch. I feel bad about it sometimes because I know there's a lot of other people who are doing live stuff and live or pre-recorded or whatever it may be. There's a lot of people who are doing live stuff, and I want to support it all, and I want to be there for everybody, but I can't. I just can't do it. Because again, it's this, I'm trying to get things done in a limited amount of time. I've made a commitment that because Pete and Jade were so instrumental to everything that I do, I'm there for them, and first and foremost, and I'm I'll try to go to other things as I can, but I just have to like draw some lines, places, and I have to say that, again, it's just I'll get to the things that I can get to, and for everybody else, know that I encourage you and I support you to do what you're doing, and I know you're going to do great stuff. And I wish I could see it all, and I wish I could experience it all, but I just have to be kind of realistic about things. And I don't know if anybody like sees that or kind of can relate to that. It's all fun and games till the red light is on. Yeah, red light fever is a real thing. But what gets you past red light fever, this is a bit of a digression. What gets you past red light fever is just doing it. The more you do it, like the first time it's going to be like, oh shit, it's recording. This is, it's happening. The more you do it, and you'll hear it, and it'll sound like a lie. It'll be like, no, come on, no, that's not going to work for me. That might work for other people, but that doesn't work for me. For me, I get terrified when that light is on, when that thing is recording. I'm just, I just turn to mush. And you will the first several times that you do it. But the more you do it, really and truly, you will become more comfortable with it, because it'll just be like, yeah, this is just the thing. That it's just it's just something normal, and it's not something weird, and it's not something alien. It's Mix Club says, my biggest problem right now is remembering to look at my notes. Yeah. Well, you got notes to look at, so I think you're winning the battle there on that front. Gore Team says, I just recorded that line into a 60s reel-to-reel dictaphone. Been doing late-night tape quotes on it. That's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome, and I bet that's going to sound really cool when you play it back. I'm guessing you're talking about this one right here. You need to use that in a song somewhere. And yeah, there is only so much time in a day. That's the thing. The Mix Club says, absolutely, I feel bad when I don't make folk streams, but the folks that are doing it, I'm sure, understand. That's what I hope. You know what I mean? That's what I hope. Gore Team says the best takes are not recorded. That's why when you go to and I'm not good at this personally, when you go to like a professional recording studio, there's no such thing as a practice take. You might do that at home, and I do it. I do like, I'm going to do a practice take. I'm going to run through this a few times and make sure that I have it. They record everything. If you're doing a practice take, they might not even tell you. But they're going to just slyly, like, yeah, run through it a couple times. They hit record when you do that. And the reason they do that is because a lot of times when you don't think the recording is happening, you're going to get an amazing take with a lot of feeling and a lot of energy in it. And then as soon as they say, okay, this time it's real, and they hit the button, then it's like, it just falls flat, because you're thinking about the recording process. You're thinking about, you've done it a few times also. So it's like this, you're just going through the motions instead of actually feeling it. And that's a big part of the reason why they do that. Blue Unicorn says, it's true for many things. The cure for wobbly knees on stage is more stage. Yeah. Now, the trick is to get back on the stage and to find a way to have somebody let you back up on the stage, because they don't know when you go up on a stage. Like, a lot of times they don't know it's your first time on a stage. Maybe they do, and it's good if they actually care that much, but they don't know that. And if you go up there and it's not your best performance, and it is a little rough around the edges, then it just makes it all that much more difficult to get back up there again. So you have to find it. But what's nice is we have this virtual stage that's here. We didn't have that before. I wish we had it years and years ago. But we have this virtual stage now, and you can go on this stage whenever you want. And there's no gatekeepers. There's nobody telling you, hey, you can't do that. And Blue Unicorn says always record. It looked like it was on Tenacious D. But the opposite of that is when I've had this happen a bunch of times. When I do a killer take, I got a great vocal take or whatever, and then I realized, like, FL Studio, for example, you have to have it set to record audio. And there's been a lot of times where I've had it on set to record MIDI and not audio. And then I go have this great take. And then I get to the end of it and I realize, oh, there's no take. Because it was on MIDI and it wasn't on audio. So that's the reverse of it. Hello, Tobias H. Reese says, exactly. Keep red light on always. Problem solved. Work for me anyway. Pick up, turn on an instrument. I hit record even if I'm practicing for 5 hours. I mean, yeah, the problem with that for us is a practical problem of, like, storage space, that it fills up really quick. But, in a recording studio, they have terabytes upon terabytes of space. So that's never an issue. But for regular people, like this Mac right here, has a 256 gigabyte hard disk because I didn't spring for the bigger one. So that's the thing I have to think about. Hey, Kim Harden Hudson, what's up? Good to see you. Let us know, Kim, how you deal with the issue of time management, managing your time, and getting creative stuff done. With all the other demands that life has. Tobias says, no, if after the hours of recording you don't have anything, delete it. Start over. Yeah, that's a good way to do it. I like that. Gortium loves the format. Yeah, if you're liking the format, let me know. One of the things, I'm probably not going to get into it tonight, but I have been thinking about, like, having people on these shows as guests and stuff, and so that could be a thing in the future. But we'll be doing this every other week, and I want to keep it, like, loose and flexible, and if we stray way off topic, I don't care. Don't care. I just want to talk. That's all. I'd like to hear myself talk. No. Tobias H. Reese says, yeah, we read that one. Frank Terzo does the same thing. That's great. Tobias says, keep only the imp's intuitive musical phrases. That's a good one. That's one to write down. And Kim says, oh man, I can't deal with much of anything lately. I get paralyzed by overwhelm. Yeah, it is easy to get overwhelmed, and that happens to me a lot as well. Biggest thing with me is, like, I finished this album, and I worked, it was one of the hardest albums in my entire discography to make. It was Future Music for a Futureless World. That really took a lot out of me. It was a really dark album and a really depressing album, and it just sucked your soul out. It's one of those kind of albums. There was so much bad shit that was happening, going on around me as well. And now it's like that's done. And then I did the little folk you thing, which was fun. But now it's like, okay, now what next? But I have ideas, but now, like, I'm back into this work and everything else, and it's like, I'm so tired at the end of the day. That's another thing, too, is just having the energy to do stuff. You get to the end of the day, and it's like, record song, do thing, think creatively, brain no work anymore. Chris Peasy likes the format. That's cool. Thank you, Chris. So Kim says, although I read something saying to make micro commitments toward your goal, so I'm going to do that. That's a good idea. So just like kind of a little list of things that you could do, I guess. Mix Club says, I do keep the studio on 24/7, so like right now, I might get up out of bed, go in there and record. Matter of fact, last video I released, I did it midnight. That's awesome. That's the way. Well, I kind of do this here. Like I'm in this. I even work. I work. My regular work is in the studio. So really, if I really now we're getting like super busy right now, and I'm starting to like get really like it's making my head spin. But when we weren't as busy, like I could easily like get up and hopefully none of them are listening. You get up and come over here and do whatever I need to do. Especially like artistic stuff. I didn't really do as much music because that just feels weird to do music during the day, but when I'm supposed to be working. But if I got to make a thumbnail or something, hell yeah. Kim says they're making us go back. Oh no. Oh, that's terrible. That's gonna that will. Back to the office. Oh shit. That's the one I worry about. Now, I was hired after the pandemic started, and it was, it's supposed to be a remote thing, and on my description it says remote. I never went into the office. That was never a thing, but I always worry about that. And my wife was there before that was a thing, so, she's probably in even a more precarious position with that. There's absolutely no reason the job that we do, we don't need to be there. I could literally be in Japan and do the job that I do. It doesn't matter, there's nothing that I need to be there for. And they're repurposing a lot of the spaces, so I'm hoping that means they're not ever going to do that. But that's awful, Kim. I would, I don't know, I'd start looking around. I'd be like, that's what a lot of people are doing now. And, the jobs that aren't offering fully remote, they're losing out on valuable employees like Kim. So, I don't know. I wish you the best of luck. And imagine there wouldn't be some pushback from people on that one, too. Jeez. Not to mention the waste in gas and everything else. Tobias, I like the cycle. Do photography, cook time with nibbling. I think you mean siblings. Like, live life, etc. Things which inspire art and music. Yeah. Great stuff. Gore Team says time management is really everything. It's the most valuable asset. Cut the time thieves out of one's life. Yeah. And Kim says, 100% on the computer. Turning Japanese. Tremor Bear went back into the office. Oh boy. It's happening. It is happening. There's still a pandemic too. I don't know, like people didn't we just don't care anymore. We're just like, it's capitalism and economy and pandemic, whatever. If you get sick, you get sick. And the thing with the pandemic is that like a lot of people will get sick and they'll be, some will be asymptomatic. Some will just have kind of normal sick, it'll be a rough time, but it'll just be a couple weeks. But some people have long-term effects. I mean, we've had people in our own community here who have had long-term effects from getting that virus. So, yeah, I wish they wouldn't. I wish they would take it a little more seriously still. Dedicated schedule helps. I have a rule where I have to earn my downtime. That's a good idea. That's a really good idea. I like that. Positive reinforcement. So you say, gonna can't do the things we want to do until we do the things that we need to do. I like that. Morris Capone says, I keep saying I need an intern for all the non-fun aspects. Uploading graphics, backing up, offloading. It's just a running in-joke. Yeah. Did you get the song reference from Gortium Japanese? I really think so. Yeah. No, it was great. Bear's been sick 3 times. That's the thing too. People think you can't get it again, and you can get it again. Even if you have the vaccines and all that stuff. That's not to say you shouldn't get them, because you absolutely should. But yeah, it is not. It's not one and done, unfortunately. Tobias says, before I even turn on my PC, I drop and do 50 push-ups. Something similar. Yeah, that gets into, that may be a subject of a whole other show about just keeping health and being healthy. Pete says, work should generally be a thing you do, not a place you go. My view, anyway. I agree 100%, Pete, and I wish that more people in positions of authority looked at it that way as well. Because, there are some jobs, have a good night, Mars. There are some jobs where, like, you got to be there. Because, if you're a cashier, you have to be there. And it's not fair. Like, it isn't fair. There are some things that require, like, they're tied with the place. If you're a prison guard, not that I necessarily agree with incarceration system and all that, but if you're a prison guard, you have to be there physically. If you are a firefighter, you have to be there because, the fire's not you can't, unfortunately, you can't fight a fire over the internet. Maybe we'll get that technology eventually where you could just have a robotic fire truck or something that goes out and it can aim the hose at the thing. But for now, if you want to fight a fire, you got to be there. But a lot of this stuff that people do that's based around computers, which is 90% of what we do these days, maybe not 90%, but it's 70, 80%. That can all be done wherever. And so this idea of having to be in a place, and then people get these people in middle management and stuff get weird about, we have to have this community and together, and people have to know and interact with each other and all that stuff. So Mix Club. So the stream is making me think I need to figure out how I built my film collection. The majority of it was even built when I was on the road. Just never slept, but there is a secret to it someplace. So you have a large collection of movies and stuff, DVDs and or VHS or what the format is. No, that's cool. That's actually great. Using text to speech, or speech to text. What is it? All right. Yeah, see, time management. All right, take care. Good luck on getting things accomplished. That's what it's all about. It says, what are computers? There's the box that, the thing. The box, the thing that does the things for you. Robots and Skynet are coming for all our gerbs. Yeah. I wish they would come faster for it, actually. Just let all the let the robots take it over, and then they're gonna be forced to figure out something different. Maybe we all have our own robot, and whatever that robot does, we get credit for. That could be a way to do it. Film music. Oh, okay. Because you do the thing that I kind of have a lot of interest in doing. I need to talk to you about that at some point. Tobias says, I have a database for everything, even community members track with notes here. Wow. That's quite an accomplishment. I have so many side projects, studio work, that without proper time management it'd be impossible to keep up with. Yeah. Well, we've talked about that. We've talked about that on the show. Tobias always has, several different things. There's a lot of pots cooking on the stove. And it's an impressive thing. Mix Club says about 3,500 tracks. That's see, Pete Johns is a cyborg. But no, like seriously, like the library music thing, like this idea where I could just produce some music that people would want to use in like a film, because I may make some, just generic kind of a thing, but it may be exactly what somebody's out there looking for to put in their video, to put in a movie that they're producing, or a pilot for a TV show, something like that. And this idea of library music where you can just submit a certain number of songs, or, even if they tell you like they want a certain genre, like that's not really a big issue for me. And we all have music that we make that isn't quite what we want to release. It's not at that level, but it's okay. And that's the kind of stuff that would be awesome to put into a library, especially if you're going to get paid for it. That would be amazing. Well, you would hope you would get paid for it. Tobias says, every stream I attend, I take note of every track and artist. Wow. I don't even do that, and I play the people. Tobias says, you never know who would be a deep fan of or wish to work with. So you need a refresher profile. He's got a database on all you guys. They'll even be fooled. That's a good. I mean, it is a good idea, I think. It's easy to confuse the best and worst of. He's keeping notes on what you don't do well, too. Right on, Tobias. Mix Club says, absolutely, Thomas sold an accordion track in Oktoberfest type of music for a pretty good chunk of change. That's cool. See, that's what I need to do, because you just play around and you make different genres and stuff, and they just want little, it doesn't have to be really long, I don't think, either. They just want, especially if there's a part that's like loopable in there or something. But I hear that getting into that initially, it presents some difficulties. So, but yeah, it is brilliant. Absolutely. Gortium says, where am I in your Dewey Decimal System? Let's see. Let's bring up the file on Thomas Christ here. Here we go. Mix Club says, absolutely, anybody here should at least look at it. Stock music, and I can turn into different types of placements. Cool. I might have to have Mix Club on a show, and he can fill us in on all this library music stuff and doing stock music, because that's a whole other show in and of itself. But it's something that I've been curious about, how that works and how you can do that and be at least a nice little way to make some extra income. Is anything right? Objective and subjective notes. All right. But yeah, so any other thoughts though on the time management, and so what can we do? What can we do to wrangle this whole this, like I just did the song. I did the song about holy moly, and the riding the Broncos and stuff. The video that I did. How do we ride that Bronco of time management? Get things accomplished. I love accomplishment. There's no better feeling than accomplishing things. Get Tobias on here in StreamYard to read his files. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that. I'm gonna have to. Can you send over the dossier of the files? I don't know. But yeah, I think hopefully we've learned some things here today. We've learned about this Pomodoro technique from Mars Capone. which in addition to sounding tasty, has us blocking things out and doing certain set periods of time where we work and then have little shorter periods of time where we take time off. We've had Tobias suggesting that you got to do the work first before you get the reward of the free time and the things that you want to do outside of it. So that's a good one. And also keeping notes on I don't know if I'd necessarily recommend that one, but it might work for some people. Mixed Club likes the format. Thank you. If you have ideas, if you're watching on replay, and you have ideas about how you can better manage your time with all these different things, well, I'm not surprised to find this out about Tobias, by the way, because I know he sent me like press releases before where he's actually like quoted what everybody said on all the shows about the song. So he had to have kept. I thought maybe he just went back and watched the shows, but knowing that he keeps these records, kind of makes sense. But anyway, the thing that he was saying about using that reward system, I think is a really great idea for managing time, and because our brains are wired, man, we want to go to the reward. We want to go right to it. We don't want to we don't want to eat the vegetables before the dessert. That's common to all of us. We just want to go right for that cake. We want the cake. We want the pudding. We want the pie. We don't want the Brussels sprouts. We don't want the lima beans, But we won't be very healthy if all we do is eat the cakes and the pies and cookies, and we don't eat the lima beans, and we don't eat the Brussels sprouts, and we don't eat the green beans and things like that. We don't eat the salad. We need to eat all that stuff before we go to dessert. I know I'm talking a lot about food, and that's probably because I'm a little bit hungry right now, but yeah. Tobias should work for NSA or something. You'd be good at that kind of stuff. Maybe he does. They don't tell you. They don't tell you that. Eat the shoe pies. But yeah, any other thoughts on this? Trying to figure out how to work with time and how to manage time and balance work and creativity and family and YouTube and all these various things that take up your time. I know for me, like, I end up having to spend a lot of time when it comes to YouTube, not just like watching shows, but preparing for the shows that I do. And that ends up eating into creative time as well. If you're going to do shows or if you're going to produce videos, like actually producing videos might even be worse, because producing videos, you have to do editing and stuff. and that can get really time consuming. So, it can be fun. It can be very fun to do that, but it also can be very time consuming as well. So that's another thing that we just have to grapple with in this world. Gore Team says time takes a cigarette, puts it in your mouth. Bowie. I've not heard that quote, but I could see Bowie saying that. Trevor Bear says schedule 30 to 60 minutes per day to work on your project, or 15 to 30 minutes. Yeah, it's kind of like people do this a lot with exercise, I think, too. Just making like a little thing that says, okay, every day I'm going to spend this amount of time, or I'm going to spend this amount of time on Mondays and Tuesdays, because I know I have a little bit of a bigger block, and then on Wednesdays maybe not at all, and then Thursdays maybe another bigger block, and then Fridays maybe it's just a shorter block. Friday's a shorter block because Metalhead Hippie's on, and that's going to be about 8 hours or so. Rock and Roll Suicide, yeah. Wednesday's a shorter block there because Thomas Christ Has You Rock, and that's like usually about 4.5, 5 hours. I'll take the piss out of myself too. I'm not afraid of that. Yeah, managing your time. The biggest thing you could do for your time is to watch my shows. Watch my shows. Yeah. That means you're managing your time very well if you're doing that. But hopefully this has been helpful in some weird way. I think I've at least gotten some good ideas and some inspiration from all of you, which was what I was looking for. This is really about me. As much as this is about you, it's about me. Because, I'm trying to find answers to this stuff. I'm trying to figure this stuff out, and trying to make myself adhere to schedules and not be racked with guilt if I can't be everywhere all at once and do all the things. So Gore Team says time well spent. That's what it's all about. What do we talk about next time? Does anybody have any ideas what next time I do this show, which will be in 2 weeks time, I think. I have to look because let me see here. So we have, well, it might end up being 3 weeks, but we'll see. Because on the 29th, I think Metalhead Hippie's doing Month of Metal thing, so I might just not do anything that day. I might just take that Saturday off and then go to the next one. Let's see here. Recap the takeaway points. I think I did a little bit of that. Trying to move forward, not upward. That's a good idea. And then Tobias says on the practical side, ask yourself how many tracks you can remember or can name by your friends here. If you can't name more than 2, then you need notes to help your memory appreciation of each artist. That's fair. I mean, I have a little bit of a better situation with that just because, I play all the songs. But Tremor Bear wants to know about how to use a compressor. You want to make it tough on me. That's a good one though. I like that one. That would definitely, if I could bring up Logic. Logic has a great their visual on their default compressor, I think, is one of the best visualizations. Should I say that word? Visualizations of what's happening with the compressor. There's also one in FL Studio that's pretty good too. That has the it's actually the limiter, but the limiter has a display that shows exactly what's happening. Also, I think their Maximus plugin is good at that too. Let's see. Tobias says bad memory with names. Yeah, it can be difficult, especially as we age. The brains hold less over that time. I don't even know who I'm watching right now. You're watching, this is NBC. Mix Club says, crank it up. Pete John says, religion or politics? Well, we are getting close to the midterms. Don't tempt me. Oh, I could go on about that. Probably not gonna go there. I should go there. Well, yeah, I might lose half my subscribers if I do. I taught time management for 22 years to college students. Wow. Well, here's the expert. Here's the expert right here. Tremor Bears teaching college students. Tobias is nearing 80. I'm 40, but I'm going on 80. That's what I usually say. Tim's getting Logic next month. Congratulations. That's the way to do it. I think you're gonna love Logic. I think you're gonna enjoy it. And Amelia, don't tempt me. Oh man, we could have a panel discussion, me and Amelia. Maybe I could find I could probably round Jade up for that one too. I'm old and I don't give a flip anymore. NBC, sweet. Is that the Peacock channel? Yeah, it's the Peacock channel. That's yeah. They have the little peacock thing. Bring on the midterms. Russ, Tom, my toilet break. Just woke up, going back to bed. Fun, everyone. hope you enjoyed your toilet break, Russ. Yeah, it'd be pretty late over there. Anyway, so yeah, we'll have to think about what we're going to talk about the next time we get together. Does anybody have anything that's interesting that's going on, or anything that's coming up within the next couple weeks that we need to know about? That the floor is yours. If you have any announcements or anything that we should be aware of. The only thing on my end is I know I'm really trying to get actually something done for Jeff's metal show. I don't know if I'm gonna make it. It's the 15th. I'm hoping I can get something done, but again, it's this whole like time management thing. Hopefully I can get a track done for that. But what I want to do, and this is really going to be like the catalyst to get that started, is I want to make a like kind of a doom metal album. So I'm gonna try to work on that. But if you have some news for us, or anything that anything you want us to know about the community for the good of the order, now is the time to let us know what's happening. Gortian wants us to know he proclaims the Hangout a success. Awesome. And Tobias says, I submitted the first track from my metal band to me and Hippie, other stuff to Ron. Great. Awesome. Appreciate that. So we'll be checking that out soon then. Looking forward to that. And Amelia says, we reached the good and welfare portion of the agenda. Except it's streams. Pete says, I would make something for Jeff, but I can't understand the rules. Well, boom, you just want to... Pete, what we do is we make a metal track, we have an original track, boom, original track. We have the original cover, and then you have any tracks that you've made throughout the month of October that you released, boom, just get on the show. But Pete's gonna be making some metal music next on Monday on GarageBand Weekly. I'm looking forward to that big time, and so that may be maybe something will come out of that. Gregory may have a cameo in a Mom track. All right. Graveyard Arsonist debut album, All Hallows Eve, and how about a Hooked on Phonics course for New in Gortium's world, been rereading Goosebumps novels, just finished The Night in Terror Tower and calling all man, Goosebumps. I haven't heard about Goosebumps in a while. I think back when I was in school, we used to have the Troll Book Club. Anybody have the Troll Book Club? I don't know why it was the Troll Book Club, but they had like the little pamphlet with the different books you could order through the school. And you had Goosebumps, you had Gershbumps, and you had R.L. Stein. Yeah, that's another one. R.L. Stein was there. And Ernest Scared. Oh, man. Oh, hey, Vern. Oh, you gotta check this out, Vern. That guy was a genius. Jim Varney was a fucking genius, that guy. Big loss for the world when we lost Jim Varney years ago. He was taken way too soon. Kim says, I've been learning to use Procreate, and I can play almost all of Hole's album Live Through This all the way through. That's what I've been up to. When you say you can play all of the... do you mean like on guitar or piano or... Slam Dunk Ernest underrated. I just love it. I've always said the one that I like is I don't even know what it was. It was the thing where he was playing all his different relatives. He's a great father, grandfather, whatever that voice. The guitar parts, awesome. You should try Pretty on the Inside. That's my favorite whole album. I love Pretty on the Inside. Every track on that, gold. It says, we need to start joining the JV fan club and have show watch meetups. Yeah. I'll be there for some Ernest. Ernest Goes to Jail was my fave. He does that in Scared Stupid. Well, personally is not so much relatives. Okay, maybe that's what it was from. Yeah, Kim played that a lot growing up. Man, that was that album whole was on another level, Pretty on the Inside. It's so angry. I love it. It's angry and it's trashy. Bobby, if you please. Goes to Jail is a good one. Helped me learn new chord shapes and intervals. Yeah, I can't do guitar chords other than just bar power chords because my fingers will not twist up. I can play piano, but I can't twist my fingers up in the way that contortions that you need to do to be able to play chords on a guitar. It just doesn't work. I've tried and I've tried and I've tried. And I failed and I failed and I failed. Yeah, it is. It is. Man, if you haven't heard, if you're out there and you haven't heard Hole's Pretty on the Inside album, you seriously got to pick that one up. Or go to YouTube, check it on out. Because it's a lot different from Hole's later music, which they went in a more melodic direction. This was just like raw punk aggression, grunge, grime and grunge, and yeah. But by the way, as I was reminded of this, Pete when he did his happy hour, he closed with the Smashing Pumpkins song. If you haven't heard the new Smashing Pumpkins song, and right now the name of it is escaping me, but look up the new Smashing Pumpkins song, and apparently this new album that they're coming out with is going to be like a follow-up to Melancholy and Machines of God. They're going on tour. They're going on tour with Poppy. But unfortunately, when they come to Pittsburgh, it's with there's somebody else. Poppy's not going to be there, which is a real drag. And they're going on tour also with Jane's Addiction. So it's Poppy and Jane's Addiction. So if you actually get one of the shows where it's Poppy, Jane's Addiction, and Smashing Pumpkins, I mean, that's a no-brainer right there. That's three great bands in a row. Yeah, Hole are definitely underrated. And, the reason is because of Courtney Love, and people don't like people don't like Courtney Love, and there's good reasons for that. She's a problematic character, to say the least, but she did make some cool music, though. Not only that, Celebrity Skin was always a great song. Hey, Dom Torregrossa is here. I need to thank this guy. He's the latest person to become a solid gold rocker for the month of October. So thank you very much, Dom Torregrossa. Also, just joining us recently was Lou Reality. She's on the board too. I got to get the board finished up. I'll have that for you for Wednesday. So we're looking forward to that. Dom, you're a late entrant here. Kind of winding things down here, but do you have any last minute thoughts on how to make the most efficient use of your time? Pete says, I'm always on the fence about the whole separating the person from the art. Yeah, that's a difficult one. But I think it depends on... I don't know that Courtney Love has done anything that was so much that she should definitely be canceled. By the way, have a good night, Tobias. Thanks for your insights and wisdom. Right on, Dom. But yeah, so I think it depends on the severity of the things that they've done. I think things that Courtney Love has done is just, it's not great, but it's not the worst. And, we'll never know what happened with Kurt. That's always up in the air. Some people say she had a greater role in that. I'm not going to get into it, but certainly is not out of the realm of possibility. There are some big questions that are there. Dom says, yes, show up for things right before they end, and you feel like you cover all your bases. That's a good tip. Yep, there you go, Tobias. You got more data points for the database. Kim says, I've kept myself mostly ignorant about Courtney Love's personal stuff. Don't believe she killed Kurt, though. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know. Don't know, but there's some good stuff that I've seen that the way that Kurt died, he couldn't have possibly done it to himself. That's what I've seen. So, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. Pete says, I choose not to listen to Michael Jackson, which seems to baffle and annoy some folks. Yeah. Look, I was never the biggest Michael Jackson fan, just overall. Even before a lot of this stuff came out about stuff he may or may not have done, I just didn't, his music was fine. I wouldn't say it was like my cup of tea necessarily. So that kind of made it easier for me. I guess if you loved and adored everything Michael Jackson, then it probably made it more difficult when it was like, and what is this guy really about? And he was a strange character. Really strange. And some of it's a cautionary tale about the dangers of somebody growing up with this celebrity their entire lives, and some of it is just the tragedy, and some of it is somebody that's really has serious problems. But yeah, Dom is right there with you. And Gore Team says, I agree. It boggles my mind when I hear it in clubs. I don't, that's the thing. I don't hear Michael Jackson that much. It's not that I never hear it, but I don't hear it too often. I don't hear it so much that I think like, oh, that's, I don't really even think about Michael Jackson all that much. That's the thing, unless somebody brings it up. Somebody like Pete Johns brings him up, and then I'm thinking about him. But yeah, Thriller is the exception. Like Thriller was Thriller was kind of genius, that the whole video and everything. And Kim says, I think sometimes I can separate the music from the artist, but sometimes I can't. Maybe mostly can't. Yeah. It is difficult. Cold Acre says, same here. Baffled people give him the benefit of the doubt. There is no doubt. Yeah. I mean, there's, I don't know. I don't know what you say. There's certainly a lot that, the whole Macaulay Culkin thing and all that. It's just like, what's going on there? The Neverland Ranch and the animals and the zoo and all the stuff that he had. It was like, what's going on? It seemed to be not the normal thing that you would do, even if you had a lot of money, as he did. He had tons of money. Actually, Macaulay vouches for him. Interesting. He's a bit of a strange character himself. I always liked Macaulay Culkin for whatever reason. I always liked him. He's a very interesting guy too. Done some pretty weird things. But Pete says, definitely a victim of his own environment and fame. Should be a cautionary tale about why we need to get these folks help instead of just surrounding them with yes people. That's the thing. But when you have that much money, you can pay to not hear other people's opinions that you don't want. That's the challenge. It's like, if you don't have money, you have to listen to people that you don't want to listen to. When you have money, then you have enough money to pay people to go away. And so it makes it a lot more difficult. Dom says, I'm sorry, anyone with a petting zoo in their backyard, yeah. I mean, to be fair, I'd have a petting zoo in my backyard because I love animals and stuff. But it is strange. But he had like a whole amusement park. That's the thing. It's not just that there was a petting zoo. There was a whole amusement park. It was all designed for like kids. Kind of weird. He had that whole thing of just being somebody who didn't want to grow up. Don't drink the Jesus juice. Frank Terzo has koi fish. I mean, that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. All right, guys. I think I'm gonna kind of try to wrap things up here. Any final thoughts anyone has? Before we draw the curtain on this first hangout. I think it was a successful hangout. I like the way this worked out. We'll see in a couple weeks when next week I'll be back with Thomas Christ Live. So looking forward to that. And we'll have some fun with that. Don't drink bees. Yeah. I think that would turn out badly. Thank you, Frank. Appreciate that. All right, guys. Well, thank you all so much for, I was like, I wasn't even sure, like, are people going to show up for this or not? I'm so glad that all of you could, made time to be here that you didn't have to do, but I'm really glad that you did. Thank you, Kim. Thank you, Mix Club. Yeah, they probably would dance on your tongue. All right. So what we got coming up? Thank you, Chris. We got You Rock on Wednesday, so you definitely want to get your tracks in for that. bit.ly/You Rock Submit is the way to do it. I think all of you know that. Kim won't be drinking bees, which is probably a good idea. Don't drink bees in the meantime between now and then. Tomorrow, Jade Star is doing a show on... I don't remember what she's doing a show on. I knew it, but... Oh, the Overdrive synth, I think. The weird Overdrive synth, which apparently has gotten better. I Oh, thank you, Dom. I think I saw that one. If not, I'm sure it's there. But thank you so much. Um, yeah, Hugh, we're just about to wrap up, man. But definitely check out the replay. And we had a great little discussion here tonight, and I think everybody seems to be pretty happy with the way it turned out. So Jade's gonna be doing that overdrive synth, I think. And then Pete Johns has YML, of course. So we're looking forward to that, hearing all the great music on there. And then Metalhead Hippie has a show tomorrow night, which may be a little late for me, but I might pop in for a little bit. And then let's see what else is happening. Monday, Lou Reality has her music chat show on at 3:15, and then of course Jade has her regular show, and Pete has GarageBand Weekly, where he's going to be making metal music. So you don't want to miss that. Wouldn't miss it for the world. I'm definitely going to be there for that one. Been waiting for that for a long time. It's going to be fun. So lots of cool stuff. I guess Dom Torregrossa has a premiere tomorrow. I didn't even know that, but now I do. So I thank you all once again for being here. Of course, as always, much love, and remember to keep rocking. Have a good night, everybody. Bye-bye.